Hi everyone, this is FaZe and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you've been subscribed to me for quite a while, then you probably know that one of my favorite devices is the Kindle, especially the Kindle Paperwhite that Amazon announced last fall of 2021. Now, when I bought this device right when it came out, I absolutely loved it and I did a full review, which you can click the link above and check it out. Now, it's been a year since I've owned this Kindle Paperwhite, and it's one of those devices that people still ask, how do I like it? Are there things that have changed over time in terms of my experience? And this is what this video is going to be about. I'm going to talk about three key things: the design, the reading experience, and the battery life. I think these are the three most important components of any e-reader. So without any further ado, I'm going to talk about the design first. Now, what's very interesting that Amazon did with the 2021 Kindle Paperwhite is that it made the screen larger. It went from 6 inches to 6.8 inches. And what's cool is the fact that though they made the screen larger, the device, the overall footprint of the device isn't that much larger. So when you're holding it in your hand, it doesn't feel like you're holding a massively larger device. In fact, it's much closer to that of a paperback than anything else. So when it comes to design, it's very thin, it's very light, it's very sleek. It obviously has that flush display. So for those who like it when the bezel is slightly raised, like with the Kindle Basic, then you might be disappointed because this is an all flush display. There are good things with that. There are also some minor things that people may not like. I like it because I like the seamlessness of the design. I don't like to see where the display ends and the bezel begins. I don't like that. I like the simplicity of it. And this is what this is. Also, you don't really have to deal with dust or anything that might get in between the bezel and the display. Now, having said that, you do get a little bit more of glare with this flush design versus when you look at the Kindle Basic, which has the raised bezel. But I don't think it's anything drastic that you would have to worry about. Now, the back of this device is matte plastic, which I think is pretty neat. It adds for more of a grip when you're holding it. Now, one of the things I do have to caution you all is that if you're a neat freak like me and like everything clean, you do get smudges on it. That's something I don't necessarily like because it makes the device look a little oily and smudged up when it's just lying around. But once again, that's not a deal breaker by any means. A lot of people will just put a case on it. Personally, I don't really keep a case on it because I like the form factor of this. I like the fact that I can just hold in my hand, immediately start reading, and then just toss it around because these devices are durable. So you don't really have to worry about shattering the display or breaking it or anything like that. And I think that sometimes when you put a case on it, you're just adding more bulk to the device. But once again, if you want to put a case on it, go ahead. I just don't personally put it on. So for me, the thinness and the lightness is way more important than something bulkier. I do wish that they made the bezel slightly thinner, but I can see why they couldn't, because you have to, rest your thumb or your finger on the side bezel so it doesn't interfere with the display. But I think the bottom bezel would have been nicer if it was thinner. I personally like symmetry. I like it when all the borders are the same size. So I kind of wish where it says Kindle, I wish that border would have been the same as the surrounding borders. But once again, that's just me nitpicking here right now. Overall, the design of this new Kindle Paperwhite is pretty great. Now, the most important thing I want to talk about is the reading experience. And that's something I'm very happy to talk about because it's been a year since I've owned this and I love reading on it. It's funny because I used the previous generation Kindle Paperwhite. One of my friends just gave it to me to take a look at, and I can't express enough how big of a difference it makes to have this slightly larger display. Because when I went back to that, it almost felt archaic. Even when I was using the Kindle Basic, it felt a little old to have a smaller device. Now, that might be something that people are into. That's great. But for me, that larger display makes a huge impact because I can read more content. So it's nicer for me. But what's even better is that they added in more lights on this Kindle Paperwhite, so it's just brighter. So even when I'm outside, I'm trying to read, I don't have an issue when I'm underneath the sun. And also the fact that this has the temperature adjusting warm lights, I love that because I'm reading a lot when it's night, and I like the fact that the blue lights aren't really hurting my eyes. When I was reviewing the Kindle Basic, I absolutely love that device, but I did talk in my review about how I really wished it had the, warm light temperature setting on there so that it would automatically adjust based on the environment I'm in or what time of day it is. So I've got a schedule where it's from sunset to sunrise. It becomes warmer and it's so much easier to read. It's so much easier on the eye. So that is something I really, really like about it, because I think that's a feature that really enhances the reading experience. It was a feature that was first introduced in the Kindle Oasis, and I was dying for them to introduce it to the Paperwhite. And on top of that, with the added LED lights to make it brighter and to also give it a larger display, just made it the perfect device. And on top of that, it's using a faster processor when you compare it to the previous Kindle Paperwhites. So when you're swiping through pages, it's lightning fast. Like, I love reading on this because I feel like there's zero lag. The brightness is great. The warm light temperature is a great added bonus, and the larger display in general is fantastic. So when I'm reading on it, I don't miss any other Kindle. I've read on the Kindle Basic, I've read on the Kindle Oasis, but there's something about this device that just makes it, dare I say, magical. We have an amazing display. We have more LED lights than ever before. We've got the warm light temperature sensor. We've got faster processors. We've got so much in this thin and light form factor. You might be wondering, how's the battery life? Now, after using this for almost over a year now, I have not once had to worry about the battery life. It easily lasts me a good 3 to 3.5 to 4 weeks, which I think is perfect. Now, I do read, I would want to say, like around 5 hours a week. That may be a lot for some, that may not be a lot for some. So that is something that really depends on your reading habits and just how much you read in general. But I think if you get this Kindle specifically, I don't think you'll have to worry so much about charging it. This is the signature edition, so I can just plop it on a wireless charging mat or device and immediately have it charged right away. I have an iPhone that has wireless charging. I use wireless chargers pretty much throughout the house. So when I feel like, it needs some extra juice, I'll just plop it down, and it's perfect because I can be using the same wireless charger I do for my iPhone with this. So the wireless charging feature is a great plus. I don't think it's something you necessarily need to have, but it is a nice plus. So overall, this is an amazing device. It is my favorite Kindle. The Kindle Basic is coming very, very close. If only it had that warm light temperature feature, that device would have been perfect. In fact, I did a review on that new Kindle Basic and I literally called it almost a Paperwhite mini because it's a smaller version of this. It's just missing that warm light feature, and it doesn't have the flush bezel display, which people might actually like that instead, to be honest. So I want to know your thoughts. Have you been using the Kindle Paperwhite? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Comment below, let me know. And of course, if you have any questions, drop them below and I will try to respond to you as quick as I can. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.